Yeah guys, 7 years ago I have installed this off-grid system here, and today we are going to check again on the battery. I haven't done a capacity test for quite a while, and yeah, what is the remaining capacity or the so-called state of health of this lithium polymer pack? Lithium polymer pouch cells, 10 kilowatt hours when it was brand new, and this battery was built by Chinese OEM. That company still does exist. They're still building batteries these days, of course. For the home storage it will be lithium iron phosphate what's used, but at that time lithium polymer, those kind of cells are built into almost every consumer device like phones, etc. That time this was the cheapest option to go for. I have then built a battery monitor at some point, and as you can see we are standing now at 1709 cycles. That equals to around 14,500 kilowatt hours of energy which was passing through this box here. The inverter has managed 38 megawatt hours in these 7 years, or 38,000 kilowatt hours. The battery is now almost full. This is somewhere around the maximum voltage this inverter can provide on the DC bus. We will reach probably somewhere around 94%, and then I'm going to turn off the solar and the loads at the moment, and then at the evening the discharge will then be done by the garden lights as always, and the battery monitor will just tell us at the morning what the remaining capacity of the pack is. I did a capacity test last time in February 2003, so that's about 2 years ago, and at that time that was at 1240 cycles. I reached exactly 8200 watt hours capacity according my battery monitor. That's always an estimate because I do not make a full discharge from 100 to 0. That is also a reason why that battery has survived 7 years. I do not fully charge it because the inverter is not able to do so. I'm kind of 1 volt short of the maximum voltage, and I discharge only to around 20% state of charge. The cycles which I'm calculating are still that way that I'm counting watt hours charging, and every time when as many watt hours are charged into the battery as I have set for estimated capacity, then 1 cycle is counted. That will typically be 2 cycles every 3 days. Yeah, now again 500 cycles have been charged into the battery. Everyone who is long enough in this battery game here knows that lithium polymer cells, those are performance cells, and they typically have been warranted to 500 cycles and reaching a state of health of 80%. So that was also the warranty which was given to me. Now we are at 1709 cycles, so that is more than 3 times as much as the warranty was. I am not expecting to be anymore at a state of health of 80% or more, But I also know that the battery is not far away from it, because it is still doing its job every day. It is powering my garden lights every night for around 12 hours, and it is still capable to have enough energy to do this for the whole night usually. Yeah, we will see how this capacity test will look like, and tomorrow in the morning we will then have the result. Okay, it's time. The battery was floating most of the afternoon. We have 95%. I will just turn off the solar PV input. The only load what we have here is now garden lights, which will turn on soon. So now I am going into the test mode on the monitor, and yeah, it will give us an estimate capacity then in the morning. So the discharge will go down to around 20, 19 maybe percent. Good. So let's see what the value will be shown there, and then we can make our verdict. Yeah guys, the sun is rising over Bramburi. We have the Gulf of Thailand here to the east, so the sun rises over the sea. It will be a good solar day again. This season we typically have blue skies all the time. The battery at home is at around 25%, so our discharge test will soon be finished. Yeah, in the meantime the battery has reached 20%, so any moment the inverter will then switch over to the grid bypass anyways, so we can call the test a day. So we have tested the battery for around 14 hours. Now 110 amp hours have been removed, or 5750 watt hours. The test went from 95% down to 20, and the estimated capacity is 7668 watt hours. So we have passed the threshold of 80% state of health, but not within 500 cycles. It took probably around 1500 cycles. Very nice. After 7 years, this battery is still performing quite well, and it is still doing exactly what it is asked to do. So yeah, the battery stands at around 7700 watt hours, or 77% state of health, plus minus a little bit. If I compare this to previous tests, and we would assume a linear degradation, it would show about 7% degradation within 500 cycles. This might sound now a lot if you compare this to lithium iron phosphate chemistry. There already manufacturers are promising like 8000 cycles until you reach 70% state of health. But for this chemistry, lithium polymer, this is really a great result. And if you just compare it with, let's say, your mobile phone, which might lose most of the capacity within like 2 or 3 years, then this is really great. What are the factors which might increase your battery life? Most of the experts came to the conclusion that you should not cycle your battery from like 100% down to 0 every time, of course. So in my case, I'm doing it from 95 down to 20, and this is already considerably increasing the battery life. Then of course these are performance cells, but absolutely not used in a performance application. It is just a very light solar application. At the discharge I typically just consume around 400 watts of power, and while charging I'm never exceeding, let's say, somewhere 40-45 amps on this pack. So here you could see our discharge cycle. We started around 9 amps, and then some point in the night some load is turned off and the load dropped to 7 amps until we have reached 20% state of charge. So yeah, but still, of course, this pack has been quite expensive 7 years ago, and it will not pay back probably in its lifetime. But that does not matter so much because this is an off-grid system, and it also has a secondary mission, which is to keep the lights on when the grid is down. And this is doing quite well, and so it should be in future as long this system is still working. So yeah, I hope you found this interesting. If you also have experience with own battery systems, please tell us how your battery is keeping its health over time. What kind of chemistry do you have? Is it really true that lithium iron phosphate is keeping its health so well and you can get out so many cycles? So what are your experiences with this? So please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I see you next time.